British Touring Cars is known for its hard, aggressive racing. They're not the quickest things in a straight line, but they brake very well. They've got big brakes for the weight of car, and it's more a tool to do the job of creating very exciting racing, which is what the British Touring Car is known for. So with a front-wheel drive touring car, over a race especially, it's really important to have the engine really drivable to look after the front tyres. So we do quite a lot of work with the guys from Mount Tune to make sure the engine's nice and smooth low down, and to use the torque rather than creating a lot of wheel spin. So here, the spec for touring cars is everyone has to run the same suspension and subframe. So this big frame here, you can see, is the same in all of the cars. So every car you look at, if you looked at a Subaru, a BMW, would have that subframe.
Here's Andy Jordan then, British Touring Car Champion of 2013. He sits 4th in the points at the moment.
So the turbo, obviously it's a very important piece of kit on the car. It gives it the horsepower, but it's really important to have it very drivable and very smooth. You can see your damper and springs here. They run in line rather than a McPherson strut system that a lot of touring cars previously would have used, but this is the common parts, they all have to be the same. Yeah, it's important to have a lot of horsepower, but if you can't get that down on the ground, then it's absolutely pointless. So that's the kind of heart of the car, and let's have a look inside at my office and see how I operate it. So they're not the easiest things to get into. Obviously very stripped out. You'll have to excuse it's a little bit dirty. It's had a couple of wet runs here at Festival of Speed.
Andrew Jordan, champion from a couple of years ago, 2013, now on the hill, and he's annihilating them on the splits as we're live on board with Jordan.
It's got a flat shifter system, so this little thing here you can see is a load cell, so it can sense when I'm starting to pull on the gear lever, and then what that does, it cuts in the engine management system, which is down here. It then cuts the engine spark for a millisecond, which then allows it to engage gear, so I can just keep my foot flat on the throttle and just pull up the gears.
On board with Andrew Jordan as he approaches the flip wall. It's dark under there. Get it turned in, missed the wall. Inch perfect from Andy Jordan.
Steering wheel's pretty busy. We've got a few different buttons. Flash button there, that's the light flasher, so you can press that if you're on a qualifying lap coming up behind someone slower, just to let them know. And pit speed, with that you can press it, it limits the car to that speed, and you can go flat on the throttle and it won't go anymore. Dash, that's for me, just to go through different pages on the dash. Radio here, we don't really use that a huge amount, that's in races, but it's more for, certainly in practice and qualifying, giving feedback about the car. Brake button, what we do is we press the brake as hard as we can, press that button, you can then release the foot brake, and that holds the car, so that acts as a handbrake.
That long climbing left-hander, the tunnel effect of the bales, what's it going to be? He's done it, hasn't he? 55.5 seconds.
They're actually pretty complex cars. They're actually very tricky cars to get in the sweet spot with setup. When you do, they're great, and you only then need to do small fine-tuning adjustments through the weekend. If you miss that sweet spot, then you can go round and round in circles trying to get into the operating circle, and they can be pretty tricky to get a handle on. That's my touring car, I absolutely love driving it. I had a great weekend at Festival of Speed. It's always great to beat the top guys in British touring cars, so hopefully that will set us up well for the rest of the season.
I got a call earlier and said meet me down for some stunt driving.
Unfortunately it's wet for you, and for me because I'm getting wet, and then my driving is really rubbish and crazy in the wet.